Hello guys! Yeah, I know it's been a long time since I last uploaded my videos, and yeah, there's a lot that has been happening. My college has started virtually this semester. I got an internship and there's a lot of stuff going on. But despite all of that, I finally decided to continue making videos despite this short break, and I'm planning to upload new videos every week, so hopefully yeah, that's it for now. That's the update. Now let's start talking about the video. Okay, so maybe you're in 11th grade or 12th grade or 9th grade or 10th grade, doesn't matter, but maybe you've thought about applying to universities abroad in countries like US, UK, Europe, Canada, Singapore, all of these great countries, and you're actually wondering of what all do you require to get admitted or get scholarships there. What are all the things that you'll have to submit? What are all of the procedures that you'll have to go through? So this video will somehow help you get knowledge of everything that you would have to do in order to apply to these great universities and finally get accepted. So let's start off with this video. Everything that you need to know about applying to universities almost everywhere. Okay, so there are 4 major components as part of any application of any college around the world, and these 4 major components make up almost 100% of any application. And if you actually end up excelling in one or many of them, there's a great chance that you would get accepted or even get scholarships at a lot of these great universities. So the first component is stats. The second component is extracurricular activities, the third component is essays, and the fourth component is letters of recommendation. So let's talk about all of these components in detail. We'll know what all things are actually included in them, and also we'll talk about which countries and which universities in these specific countries focus on which key components, and if you're actually planning to apply to those countries or universities, you can focus on those elements which will make your application stronger. Okay, so let's dive deep into them. Okay, so number 1 is stats. Stats is basically short for stress. Yeah, so stats basically mean numbers. So your grades, your marks throughout high school from 9th grade to the 12th grade, your scores, your test scores. So if I talk about all universities around the world, they would require your high school grades. That's like the first thing you submit from 9th to 12th. Then if you're actually willing to apply to colleges in the US, they would require you to submit standardized testing scores. So standardized tests are SATs or ACTs, and a lot of these universities actually give out scholarship on basis of these scores and even admit you on basis of these scores. Because of the pandemic this year, a lot of these universities have actually gone test optional, so you don't have to submit those scores. But if you're watching this video in the future, nobody really knows what's going to happen, so yeah. But it's always good to actually get good scores and submit the test scores, because that'll only strengthen your application. Number 3 is if you're actually planning to apply to those top tier US universities, World Top 20, World Top 30, I'm talking about Ivy Leagues and MIT and Stanford, they might also need you to submit the SAT subject tests. So many of them recommend 2 subject tests, and many even require 2 subject tests. So these subject tests are basically standardized tests, but they're focused in one subject area like physics, math, chemistry, English or French, Spanish, all of these subjects. So if those universities are on your college list, you should look into these tests and you might have to give them. The third key component is if you're actually planning to apply to universities in the UK, in the Europe or in Australia, then you would have to give English proficiency tests like IELTS or TOEFLs. So because these universities are basically, their language of study is English, so they need like a minimum score on these tests so that they know that you will be able to comprehend what the teacher is teaching and you'll be able to understand what all is happening around you, and that is one of the key requirements for universities in these specific region. In US, since you're giving these standardized tests, they actually do include like an element of English, so you wouldn't really need to give these English proficiency tests, but it might change from college to college. Okay, so let's talk about the second major component of applications, and that is extracurricular activities. So extracurricular activities are basically every activity that you do outside of your classroom or your textbook, which you think is productive and which has helped you develop as a person. So there's all sorts of activities, and actually all of them would be classified as extracurricular activities because there's no threshold or there's no definition of an extracurricular activity. It basically can be anything which you enjoy and are passionate towards. So it can be community service, or it can be dancing, or it can be drama, or it can be robotics, or it can be MUNs, debates, or it can be
6.5 hours later,
or it can be internship, or it can be, yeah, so you get the point. All of these activities would come under extracurricular activities. So make sure that you participate in all of these activities for the sake of passion and interest, and not just a name and a title, because colleges don't really require you to show them certificates of these stuff. They really care about the outcome or the impact that those activities created around you or for you. So universities around the world have different level of focus on these extracurricular activities. If I talk about the US, then yes, you will have to have good levels of extracurricular achievement, because they follow a holistic admissions process which does value these extracurricular activities a lot. And other countries like Canada a little bit less, in Europe a little bit more less, and in Singapore even more less, because they are very academic oriented. So if you've done activities like Olympiads and all of these academic oriented extracurricular activities, then they would really be interested, otherwise they really won't be. So let's talk about the third major component of the admissions process, which is the essays. So universities worldwide call it differently. In the US they might call it the Common App essay, in UK they might call it the personal statement, elsewhere they might call it the motivational letter. They're known by different name, but it basically is the same thing. So essay is a way for you to connect to the admissions officer. So far you've basically submitted them your numbers, your grades, your titles, your extracurricular activities, but they don't really know you as a person. So what the essay does is it provides a face to the application, so that the admissions team knows you better and they better can judge if you're basically a fit for the university or not. So in the essay you can talk about experiences, good or bad. You can talk about incidents that have deeply impacted you. You can talk about things which you think are really different, which you've experienced as compared to the other applicants. There's so much you can talk about, but just make sure that the essay you write is actually something which is very personal, and like as soon as you read it you just feel that yes, this is me who I'm talking about. So that the admissions team actually does get to know you better, and it'll really help your application if you write like a beautiful essay which basically helps them know more about you. Throughout the world, the word limits are different. So for example, for Common App essay it's 650 words, which is like almost 3/4 a page, and in other countries it might be 1 page or 1.5 page depending on the formatting and stuff. But yeah, you get the point. So just make sure that these essays that you write, you have enough time to start brainstorming about what you want to write, and you can constantly write new drafts, and you can constantly update and make changes to the essay. Just don't wait for the very last minute, for like the last week before the application is due to write the essay. Take like a good level of time. Take 1 month, take 2 months, take 3 months, just whatever time you have available. Try thinking of good incidents that define who you are as a person, and I'm sure that will really help your application. If I talk about specific countries, in US the essay does mean a lot because it's the Common App essay, and if I talk about the top tier universities, the world top 20 Ivy Leagues, the essay can actually be or make or break part of the application. So just make sure you write very well, and in other countries as well, because in many countries for the scholarships, they actually do require you to submit a good essay or even some extracurricular leadership activities. So make sure you give good levels of time to this. So let's talk about the fourth part of the application process, which is letters of recommendation. So these are basically letters that your teachers, your counselor, your coach, your work employer, or anyone else which has actually professionally worked with you or which has been with you or who has mentored you writes to the university, so that it boldifies all your claim. Boldify, is that even a word?
Oh my god!
I don't really know. So yeah, so basically it helps them judge you better as a person, because these people, the teachers, the counselors, they know you very well from the very beginning, and they can actually write about how they've seen you grow throughout all these years. And this really does help the universities get a better sense of who you are as a person, as an individual. I might be repeating that, but this is actually what the universities look for. They look for fit with their universities, and once they do feel that yes, this individual will fit in with the community and will contribute to the community, then they do accept you and they do give out scholarships to you. So these LORs can basically help them know that you are the right candidate, because the and make sure that whenever you ask for the LORs, you ask from teachers who know you well, who you've worked with, or counselor who you've worked with. Just make sure that these people know you well, so that they can write about incidents, about how they were actually surprised on how you behaved or how you acted, and how well that actually changed their image of you. And throughout they can talk about how you grew. This shouldn't all be like flowery and all positives. They shouldn't like present you as someone who is like the god or something, but yeah, this should be very real, and this should talk about your negatives as well as your positives, and that way the university does get like a better sense of who you are. Yeah, that's all for the LORs. I mean, many universities do require you to submit like 3 LORs, 2 teachers and one counselor, but this might change with all universities, but you should like at least ask for these 3 LORs from your teachers and counselors. Also, whenever you ask for a teacher's LOR, make sure that you give them a list of the extracurricular activities or projects or research that you've done in their specific area of expertise. So for example, if I'm asking my physics teacher for an LOR, I would hand him over a list of activities that I've done related to physics. So for example, if I've done research on electricals, or if I've done a project which is related to physics, this will help him know more about what all I've done out of the class, and this way he will have like a little bit more to talk about in his LOR, and he can actually explain how I've contributed to his area of study. Yeah, that's all of the components of the application process for universities almost anywhere in the world. So if you have all parts of them, if you're able to complete all of them, then you will be able to apply to universities wherever you want to. So yeah, take your chance and make sure you apply to universities that you want to go to, and please don't plagiarize, please don't copy and paste, because the universities will know and that'll give them a very bad impression of you. Be true and be honest throughout the application process, because they want to see the original you. And that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this video really helped you get a better understand this process and make this process easier. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you want me to make if you want to see more of my videos, if you want to follow me throughout this journey of my YouTube channel, I don't know if that's really a thing for now, but yeah, if you want to follow my journey, click the subscribe button. And if you have any suggestions on videos that I should make, or if you have any questions, put them down in the comment box and I'll get to them. And that's all for now. Wow, what am I speaking? I have no clue. Yeah, that's all for now. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.